everyone, my name is Cinna and these are my books, and today I'm going to tell you what is on my TBR for the NEWTs Readalong for the month of August. If you don't know what the NEWTs Readalong is, it is a read-along over the month of August hosted by the Book Roast, who is a booktuber on YouTube. It's about the exams taken in the Harry Potter Wizarding World called the NEWTs, which is done after the hours. I didn't know about this read along, so I haven't done the hours, which you're supposed to do before the NEWTs. But if you want a little bit of an explanation, she explains it a lot better than I do, obviously, because it's her read along. But basically you pick a Wizarding World occupation, and I chose the librarian. And then I'm looking at the piece of paper here that's got all the details that I have to do to become a librarian. You have to get certain grades, meaning you have to read a certain number of books in order to become a librarian. There's an A, there's an O, and there's an E, and to become a librarian you have to get 1 O and 2 E's. You have to get an O in Ancient Runes, an E in Defense Against the Dark Arts, and an E in History of Magic. To get an O in Ancient Runes you have to read 3 books. The first theme is read a book recommended by a friend. The second is read a book written in past tense. And the third theme is to read a book that's been on my TBR for ages. So a book recommended by a friend I don't actually have with me yet. It's on its way. And that is A Court of Mist and Fury. Yes, is A Court of Mist and Fury. Is the second one in the Okotar series. I read A Court of Thorns and Roses during the reading rush, as you would have seen in my former TBR and the vlog if you watched it. And so that's going to be my next book that I read, and it's been highly recommended since I read Okotar during my TBR, and it's been highly recommended by all my friends on Tumblr since I put it on my TBR for the reading rush. The second theme to get an O in Ancient Runes is to read a book in past tense. Now, I quickly went through this, which was on my reading rush TBR. It's Emergency Contacts by Mary H.K. Choi. And I quickly went through it and it looks like it's in past tense. It was kind of hard to understand. It was kind of hard to read and understand if it was in past tense without actually looking at what was going on in the first few pages. So I quickly skimmed over it. It looks like it is. So I'll be reading that for that theme. And third is a book that's been on your TBR for ages. And for me, that is Death Cure by James Dashner. This is the third book in the Maze Runner series. Everyone's pretty much heard of Maze Runner. I read the first 2 books and I don't know why I didn't get around to the third one, but it's been a little while now and I kind of lost touch of it, but I don't really want to read the first 2 again, so I'll be reading this one and hopefully I'll remember everything that's happened as we go through it. So to get an E in Defense Against the Dark Arts you have to read 2 books. The first theme is a book that is black under the dust cover, and the second is the first book that you remember from your TBR. So for me, a book that is black under the dust jacket for me is Daisy Jones and the Six. As you can see there, it is black. I've been looking forward to reading this so much. It is by Taylor Jenkins Reid if you're interested. Taylor Jenkins Reid if you're interested. I'm really looking forward to reading this one. By the way, I chose librarian because you only have to read 7 books, which is a fair bit considering I'm studying at uni, but it is one of the smallest. You can read anywhere between 4 books for the month. I can't remember what occupation that was, but the number of books is different depending on what occupation you chose. So I chose librarian because there's only 7 books, but you could pick something else. I can't remember which one it was, but there was one with 9, there was one with 11 I believe. So it's up to you on how many books you want to read during the month of August. The second theme to get an E in Defense Against the Dark Arts is the first book that you remember from your TBR. And for me, that one was definitely The Beholder. I got this in a Fairy Loot box, I can't remember which one. It is by Anna Bright, and I can't remember exactly what this one is about, but I do remember that I really look forward to reading it, so can't wait for that. It's also signed, I believe, which makes it all the more better. It is. There we go. Can you see it? Just there. Oh, love it. Love signed books. finally, to get an E in History of Magic, you have to read a fantasy and you have to read a book that includes a map. So the fantasy book that I chose was Mirage by Somaiya Daud. This also came in a fairy loot box that I read. I'll let you know how it goes, but I can't another one that it's been on my TBR for a little while, so I can't exactly remember what this one is about either. I have to check if this one's actually fantasy. It might be science fiction. That's not good. Hang on, give me a second, I gotta check. I gotta check if it's fantasy. Alright, I checked, it's a fantasy. We're all good, we're all good. It looked like a science fiction because the first part is in a star system dominated by the brutal Vethic Empire. So I thought it was, yeah, I thought it was science fiction, but it's not. It's all good. This is the fantasy I'm going to read to get an E in History of Magic. Read a fantasy. The second theme, to get an E in History of Magic, you have to read a book that includes a map. I'm going to read the third book. I haven't ordered it yet, I haven't bought it yet, but the third book in the NEWTs series, I don't remember what it's called. That is so bad. And the last book that I will be reading to become a librarian, and the second theme to get an E in the History of Magic, is to read a book that includes a map. And for that, I'm going to read A Court of Wings and Ruin, which is the third book in the NEWTs series, and I'm really looking forward to it. I did put out a post on Tumblr asking if it did have a map because I don't have it yet, and there is. So that's good. So I've kind of planned ahead. So yeah, that was my TBR for the NEWTs Readathon hosted by the Book Roast over the month of August. That's 7 books. I'm a bit nervous because I have exams in 4 weeks, and I'm also studying at uni, which is intense and full-time as in itself. So wish me luck reading them all. I hope I get to read all 7 of them this time instead of just 5 out of 7 like the reading rash. Yeah, but we'll see how it goes, and I'll keep you guys updated. I'll probably vlog that a little bit too. It won't be as in-depth as the reading rush was because that was over a week and this is over a month. Nevertheless, thank you for watching. Please leave a comment down below what you'd like to see next. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next time. I hope you have a good day.